The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy.
Those names include actor Michael B. Jordan, rapper Kid Cudi, and comedian Mike Myers. Now, this is just to name a few. Kanye West and Diddy's former partner, Cassie Ventura, are also among the list of celebrities whose names were mentioned in court on day number 1 of the jury selection process.
More big names are getting dragged, and as another day in Diddy's sex trafficking trial just wrapped, Hollywood elites are allegedly scrambling and packing up. This is after they realized that this ain't your average celebrity courtroom mess. We are talking about audio, videos, and Homeland Security pulling up with receipts and dropping a bomb that had the entire room on edge. Now, over 100 A-listers were name-dropped, and the internet went wild. We have Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, Steve Harvey, Ashton Kutcher, and more. But the silence from these celebs? Deafening. It all started May 5th during jury selection, when lawyers handed out a list so long it looked like Marvel credits. But this wasn't just name-dropping for drama. This was real. The question wasn't, did they do something? It was, do you know these people, and will that mess with your judgment? And y'all already know the internet wasted zero time putting on their detective hats. Because if Diddy's going down, some of these folks might just be running scared for a reason. Let's start with the big one. Ashton Kutcher.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters.
Mr. Punked himself. Mr. I testify for sex offenders in my spare time Kutcher. Ashton was allegedly Diddy's right-hand man back in the early 2000s, always at the parties, always smiling for the cameras. But behind the scenes, the stories get real dark real fast. Remember, Ashton was married to Demi Moore, who herself has admitted to being sexually abused as a child. And that alone is tragic enough. But then you've got the resurfaced clip. Yup, that clip of Demi, clearly intoxicated, kissing 14-year-old actor Philip Tanzini like it's some romantic moment instead of an uncomfortable public display. It was supposed to be his birthday. Instead, it turned into Exhibit A in Hollywood's history of blurring lines with minors. And now, let's look at Ashton. This is the same man who was best friends with convicted Danny Masterson, his longtime co-star from That 70s Show. Danny wasn't just accused. He was convicted, y'all. The jury didn't hesitate. They slapped him with 30 years to life. But what did Ashton do? He wrote a letter, a character letter to the judge saying essentially, yeah, he might have violently assaulted multiple women, but hey, he's always been a good friend to me. People were asking, what are we doing? That's not a defense. That's the equivalent of saying, he didn't rape me, so he must be a good guy. Like, hello? Ashton, are you hearing yourself? And here's where it gets messier. Word on the street? Ashton and Diddy weren't just casual party friends. They were tight. Like, real tight. Ashton was reportedly always around when Diddy was throwing one of his famous white parties, the ones that started looking less like celebrations and more like covert operations. No phones, no press, no limits. Just celebrities, champagne, and allegedly freak-offs behind closed doors. Like, here's a video of him having a lot of fun during one of Diddy's white parties. We're not talking about Ashton showing up once and dipping out early. No, he was a regular. He was there so often, people thought he lived at Diddy's spot. Several insiders, including a former event staffer from those years, have claimed Ashton was always in the mix. They said he wasn't just hanging back in the crowd either. He was in the VIP rooms behind the curtains, allegedly partaking in all the wild after-hours debauchery. Now here's where it turns dangerous. There's allegedly a video, a tape, a freak-off session caught on camera inside Diddy's Central Park West penthouse, with Ashton front and center, not just in attendance, participating. And guess who allegedly has that footage now? Homeland Security. That's right. The same Homeland Security agents testifying in court just revealed that these parties were more than parties. They were operations. They were being monitored, and the footage is now being reviewed in connection with the Diddy's sex trafficking investigation. Suddenly, Ashton's name being brought up in court isn't just casual gossip, it's part of an active federal probe. But wait, because Ashton is trying real hard to keep that image squeaky clean. These days, he's giving podcast interviews with Mila Kunis, talking about how they raise their kids. You know, trying to seem relatable, down to earth, normal. Recently, Ashton admitted that his parenting style is, in his own words, shaped by toxic masculinity.
And when my son cries, I'm like, all right, you know, good. We're going to, what do we learn? Let's go. Let's move on. And when my daughter cries, it's like, my heart is out of my body and I can't put it back in. And I don't know if that's, there's probably like a ton of just, in some senses, maybe like toxic masculinity that I've had in my life that like it treats my son different than my daughter in that way.
The internet exploded. Some people applauded the honesty, but the overwhelming majority called him out for pushing gender stereotypes that are way past their expiration date. Critics asked, how are you still raising boys to man up in 2025, especially when you've witnessed firsthand what happens when boys grow up thinking emotions are weakness and power means control? Even parenting experts chimed in. One expert said, telling boys to be protectors while telling girls to protect themselves isn't modern parenting, it's recycling trauma. And they're right. Ashton and Mila are billionaires. They have the resources to break the cycle, to set new standards, and to show their kids a better way. But instead, they're out here perpetuating the same outdated formula that Hollywood has profited off for decades. And when you really zoom out, the irony is thick. Ashton helped build a tech company to combat child exploitation. He's testified before Congress. He's shed tears for victims overseas. And yet, when his own inner circle is rotting from the inside out? Well, it's the very same toxic masculinity he talks about struggling with. Still alive and well in his own household, influencing how he raises his son. So, yeah, Ashton might be trying to act like he's out here doing the work. But if you're protecting predators, sitting silent when your friends are hurting people, and teaching your kids the same outdated power dynamics that fueled this whole mess, you're not part of the solution. You are the problem. Ashton's good guy mask might finally be cracking for good, because in a courtroom, no amount of tech startups, podcast interviews, or parenting philosophies is going to save you. Next up, Steve Harvey. This one is wild.
Oh my god, the Steve Harvey baby oil on pizza video did not age well for him. Take a look.
So could you help us out with some fun Thursdays? And remember, I'm a pastor's wife. So.
I ain't really got no Christian answer for you. You want to spruce things up with the pastor. I'm just going to have to keep it real with you. Y'all been having like bowling night and pizza night and all like that. Just throw some baby oil in there.
Because Steve Harvey has built his entire brand on being Mr. Family Man, the clean-cut king of daytime TV, the mustache, the suits, the best-selling books on how men should think, all those relationship tips and motivational quotes on Instagram, all that act like a lady, think like a man energy, that's been Steve's bread and butter for decades. But behind that smile, behind that big uncle at the cookout energy, allegedly is a much darker reality. Back in 2019, the internet exploded with rumors that Steve's daughter, Lori Harvey, was dating none other than Sean "Diddy" Combs. That's right, Diddy, and not just dating. We're talking vacations together in Italy, dinners in Soho, and very public hand-holding moments that made people do a double take. Why? Because at the time, Lori was fresh off a relationship with Diddy's son, Justin Combs.
Y'all, with this whole Cassie and Diddy situation, disclaimer, she was 19 when he was 37. Y'all remember them? Y'all remember Lori Harvey and Diddy? And now they were rumored to be dating and like, you know how long this relationship lasted? You know how long it took for her to get out of here? For her to be like, Pete? AI says 3 months. 3 months. And then she unfollowed him on social media.
Let that sink in. First, she dates her son. Then, she's allegedly linked to the father. And Steve Harvey was silent. Not a single public word condemning the alleged situation. No protective dad energy. No father-daughter boundaries talk. Nothing. And the silence spoke volumes. Because, according to multiple online insiders, and yeah, take it how you want to take it, Steve allegedly knew. In fact, some believe he approved. Some even go further, saying Steve pushed Lori into that relationship to stay in Diddy's good graces. And it gets darker. Allegedly, Diddy invited Steve to one of his infamous freak-offs, those highly exclusive, off-the-grid, anything-goes gatherings where privacy disappears and cameras roll. Word is, back in the 90s, Steve attended one of those freak-offs and didn't exactly leave with his reputation intact. Sources claim that Diddy recorded Steve Harvey in a compromising position during one of those parties, and that footage has been used as leverage ever since. Yeah, you heard me, blackmail, allegedly for years. That's why Steve never said anything when the rumors about Diddy and Lori flared up. That's why he stayed quiet. Because of that footage allegedly still exists. And Diddy, until recently, was one of the most untouchable men in the industry. Powerful, connected, and definitely not afraid to hold dirt on people. In fact, this theory gained even more traction in late 2024, right after Diddy's arrest. Fans noticed something strange. Steve Harvey started deleting old posts that referenced Diddy, pictures from events, captions showing love and respect. All gone. No explanation. And the internet was watching. Some said it was Steve trying to distance himself, clean up the brand, act like the connection never happened. But others weren't buying it. They called it what it looked like, a reputation-saving move. A late-game Hail Mary to protect the motivational mentor image before the fallout got worse. Let's not forget, Steve Harvey's whole identity is built on respectability. He gives marriage advice on daytime TV. He lectures black men on integrity. He has full-on sit-downs with women, telling them how to vet their partners. But how do you give advice when your own daughter allegedly got passed from Diddy's son to Diddy himself and you didn't blink? It's giving hypocrite. And don't even get me started on the rumors about Steve using Lori as a pawn for access. There's this long-running belief in Hollywood that powerful men trade their daughters, their wives, even their own reputations to stay close to other powerful men. You scratch my back, I hand over my daughter's contact card. It's disgusting. And allegedly, Steve played the game. When Gina Hoon's interview resurfaced in 2020, the Diddy-Lori rumors came back with full force. And now, in the middle of Diddy's trafficking trial, guess whose name is quietly being whispered in the background? Steve Harvey. People are questioning. If Diddy was trafficking women, recording freak-offs, and using blackmail as currency, what did Steve see? What did he know? And more importantly, what did he stay silent about? And here's the thing. Lori has since denied the relationship. She unfollowed Diddy on Instagram. She's moved on. But the damage, the optics, already done. The internet never forgets. And when people started digging into those 2019 vacation photos, they noticed something else. Steve was there too. So let's not act brand new. Steve Harvey built a public image of morals, family, and wisdom. But if even half of these allegations are true, then the man preaching from the Family Feud podium might just be one of Hollywood's best-dressed wolves. And now that Diddy's empire is collapsing and receipts are getting pulled left and right, Steve might want to get ahead of it, because the longer he stays silent, the louder the questions get. And speaking of Lori Harvey's exes, Michael B. Jordan got dragged into this too. His name was also on the trial list. Now, let me be clear. These celebrities aren't being accused yet. But let's not play dumb. If your name shows up on a list being reviewed by Homeland Security in a federal sex trafficking and racketeering case, it's not random. That means they're expecting someone to bring you up during testimony. And here's where it gets spicy. During Cassie's emotional testimony, where she spilled the darkest chapters of her 11-year relationship with Diddy, another name allegedly came up behind closed doors. According to insider chatter, Michael B. Jordan wasn't just a potential witness or someone associated with Lori. He was allegedly someone Diddy had on his radar for a while because of Cassie. Yep, there's a swirling rumor that Michael B. Jordan and Cassie may have had an affair while she was still involved with Diddy.
Patriots, this just in, so we have a little bit more information on why Michael B. Jordan was named in this case. Now, it is because in 2015, he had a relationship with Cassie Ventura. That is right.
And listen, if that's true, that would explain a lot of Diddy's reported jealousy, surveillance, and rage during that time. Several accounts from people close to the couple say Diddy was known to obsess over Cassie's movements. Who did she speak to? Who did she text? Who did she even look at? And Michael B. allegedly showed up at a few parties, got too friendly. Now, to be clear, there's no confirmation of a full-blown relationship between Michael and Cassie, but Cassie's testimony did reference Diddy accusing her of seeing someone behind his back. She described one incident where Diddy flew into a violent rage after discovering she'd texted an unnamed male celebrity. The name wasn't read out loud in open court. But guess what name is on the prosecution's to be referenced list? Michael B. Jordan. Coincidence? You decide. And here's where things come full circle. After Cassie finally escaped Diddy and the whole relationship imploded, guess who stepped into the spotlight with Lori Harvey not long after? Michael B. again. So, now we have a triangle. Diddy's alleged former girlfriend, Cassie. Diddy's alleged current fling at the time, Lori and Michael B. Jordan standing at the intersection of both relationships. That's not messy, that's a web.
In 2023, when Cassie initially filed her complaint against Diddy, Cassie alleged that back in 2015, her and Diddy were on a break and she started a flirtatious relationship with an actor. Reportedly, Diddy found out and ended up threatening this actor, allegedly. It has since been revealed that the actor is Michael B. Jordan.
And Diddy allegedly wanted Michael gone from both. The speculation now is that Diddy's obsession with Cassie and his weird fixation with controlling Lori both revolved around Michael B. Jordan. Some even say that when Michael went public with Lori, it was a deliberate power move to prove that he wasn't scared of Diddy. But behind the scenes, sources say security was heightened, NDAs were signed, and Michael's team worked overtime to scrub any associations that could link him directly to Diddy's world. And now that the tapes are being reviewed, the freak-offs are being investigated, and Homeland Security is handing over names like grocery receipts, the question remains, what does Michael B. Jordan know? Because the reality is, if Cassie did name-drop him during private testimony, it means prosecutors believe he could provide relevant information. Maybe he saw something, maybe he heard something, or maybe Diddy's paranoia about him being too close to Cassie and Lori wasn't paranoia at all. It was projection. Let's not forget, Michael's entire brand has been squeaky clean. He's never been tied to a scandal until now, and even though he's not facing accusations, the fact that he's included in this trial on that list during this kind of investigation? Let's just say, nobody ends up near this mess by accident. Something ain't adding up. And the closer we get to more names being read out in open court, the harder it'll be to stay quiet. Now, let's pivot to Kanye West. Ye's name was on the juror list too, and if you've been paying attention for the past few years, this man has been unraveling in public like a Christmas sweater on fire, from erratic rants to political chaos to marrying a woman who looks exactly like Kim Kardashian but might have said 6 words total since the wedding. It's safe to say Ye hasn't exactly been sending out stable energy lately. And let's be real, Ye has seen things, and he's been around all the key players. Diddy? Oh yeah, Kanye has been to multiple of Diddy's legendary white parties. The ones with no phones, private rooms, closed doors, you already know. And once you've been behind those doors, once you're inside that circle, you don't leave clean. Not mentally, not spiritually, not reputationally. At first, Kanye kept it low-key, but when Diddy's world started crumbling, Ye did something that made everybody do a double take. He doubled down in support.
Yeah, bitch. It's wicked, wicked, wicked. So you be careful.
Yeah.
We can't do nothing if they, you know what I'm saying? I need you out there, you feel me?
Yeah. I hear you. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again, and you know, I'm gonna see you soon, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna be. You gonna definitely beat this shit. Yeah.
Yes,
sir. And that's it.
That's it, and that's all, baby. But I'm gonna make sure I call you back or something. It'd be good to hear your voice again.
Yeah.
Like 59 more days before trial, so I'll definitely be touching in to tap into your energy or something.
Yeah.
Play me some shit over the phone, give me some fucking life. This is fucking sad. I fucked daddy in jail. This is fucking sad as a motherfucker.
Yup. Just days after the allegations about sex trafficking, rape, and abuse started circulating, Kanye dropped a Free Puff clothing line. Yes, while the rest of Hollywood distanced themselves from Diddy like he was nuclear waste, Ye was out here putting Free Puff on hoodies like this was some injustice. And if that wasn't enough, he hopped on X and wrote, "All these celebrity niggas and bitches is pussy. Y'all watch our brother rot and never say shit." Sir, what are we doing? Instead of taking a breath, Ye kept pushing. 1 week later, just after security footage was released of Diddy physically attacking Cassie Ventura, dragging her through a hotel hallway, slamming her to the ground, and kicking her like she wasn't even human, Ye posted a still image from the clip and defended it. Not condemned, not questioned, defended. He wrote, "When a man truly loves a woman, he may express it in rage. I empathize with both sides." Both sides? What sides, yeah? There's a man assaulting a woman on video. And you want to talk about love? And just in case there was any hope he was trolling or being sarcastic, nope. He followed up with this: "You have to truly be in love to get to the point of risking everything." Risking everything, yeah? He wasn't risking a proposal, he was risking her life. But he didn't stop there. Because when the internet dragged him for this nonsense, Ye turned his sarcasm dial to 100 and posted again saying, "Hey, question. If someone were to beat up their girlfriend in public, would that be considered domestic violence? Or is that outdoor violence? Or is it just public indecency? I'm just asking for a friend." This wasn't edgy. This wasn't witty. This was dangerous rhetoric from a man who has 4 children, massive influence, and more than enough money to get real help if he actually wanted to. Now, let's zoom out. Kanye's entire public persona over the last decade has been this chaotic mix of brilliance and breakdown. But this felt different. This felt like alignment with a man whose life is imploding under criminal investigations and decades of disturbing behavior. And maybe that's why Ye's name is now sitting on that government-issued juror list. Again, he's not being accused. Not yet. And if you're wondering why Ye's even bothering to ride for Diddy this hard, maybe it's guilt, maybe it's loyalty, or maybe he knows too much. Because remember, Ye doesn't exactly keep secrets. The moment someone crosses him, he spills tea faster than a barista in a brawl. So, what happens if he ends up on the stand? You might be unpredictable, but he's not dumb, and that's what makes this so interesting. Because for someone who's always talking about God, about morality, about saving the culture, Kanye West is doing a whole lot of defending monsters right now. And the closer this trial gets to revealing everything, the more Ye's support starts looking like a cover. Now let's talk TD Jakes, the bishop, the preacher, the spiritual leader to thousands, the man behind the Potter's House mega church, a religious figure so influential, presidents have sat in his congregation and celebrities have flown across the country just to hear him speak. But here's where it gets shady. TD Jakes was also Diddy's friend. Nota, we met once at an event type of friend. Nah, they were seen together multiple times in private settings and at industry events. Photos, videos, mutual praise. Diddy even once credited TD Jakes for helping him through personal struggles, calling him a powerful man of God. But now that the spotlight is on Diddy's alleged trafficking ring, freak-off tapes, and criminal enterprise, TD Jakes suddenly steps down from his church leadership role just days before the trial starts.
TD Jakes finally announced on Sunday that he would be stepping down. as the head pastor of his mega church and turning it over to his daughter, Sarah Jakes. But I don't find this to be so surprising because it has really been a long time coming. We know the allegations that were put out there associating him with the Diddy case. Now, this was a minute ago. He was in the blind items and he was just denying. But all of a sudden, he just passed out. Why are you passing out? As TMZ put it, mysterious health problems. You're having these mysterious health problems and telling your congregation, oh, you're looking at a miracle. Everything with TD Jakes is just a gimmick.
Coincidence? I don't think so. And the church community? They're side-eyeing hard, because this isn't just a pastor retiring. This is a man walking away from the pulpit he built from scratch. And he does it without a scandal of his own, without a transition plan, just a quiet announcement. People are starting to whisper, if TD Jakes was that close to Diddy, what did he know? And worse, what was he part of? Because in Diddy's world, nobody's just a friend. And then there's Will Smith. Yup, the Fresh Prince got dragged into this too. He's been to Diddy's parties, his wife Jada too. And we're not just talking about casual industry mixers. We're talking about those parties, the ones with NDAs, security at every corner, and no phones allowed. The kind of parties that Hollywood knows about, but nobody ever talks about.
Will Smith claps back at memes of him and Sean Diddy Combs and speaks out for the first time about his history with the music mogul. The Oscar winner took the stage at the Observatory North Park in San Diego December 12th, and during a break in the show, the rapper called out memes he'd seen online trolling his past association with Combs.
But people have seen things. Over the years, there have been plenty of photos of Will and Diddy hanging out, laughing, toasting, and getting cozy at after parties. And it didn't stop with just the photos. There have been whispers for years that Will and Jada were allegedly involved in threesomes with Diddy. Not confirmed, but the rumors were loud. And the moment this trial started heating up, Will hopped on a mic in San Diego and made sure to say loud and clear, "I don't know nothing about no damn freak-offs." That energy sounded like damage control, because now old clips are resurfacing, jokes on talk shows, teasing about baby oil, inside jokes that felt funny back then, but now, not so much. Now they feel like coded language, like they were hiding in plain sight the whole time. People are starting to connect the dots, and Will's name might not be going away anytime soon. And let's not forget about the people who've already vanished. One male sex worker who reportedly gave tapes to the feds? Gone. Disappeared. This is exactly what happened in the Tory Lanez case. Witnesses vanish, people stop showing up, and the media pretends it's normal. But we see it. We see how this industry protects its own. They'll sacrifice everyone except the top dogs. Until now. Because Diddy might be the first domino, but behind him, there's a whole damn Jenga tower. Look, nobody's saying all these celebs are guilty, but when over 100 names show up in a federal trafficking trial, you've got to ask, why them? Why now? The NDAs can't protect them anymore. The silence won't work. Hollywood is cracking and the truth is pouring out. And as for Diddy, sources say he's spiraling behind the scenes, allegedly still abusing MDMA, the love drug that many say turned him into a sexual deviant in the first place. And now, the same people who smiled with him, toasted champagne with him, pandosed for red carpet pics with him are ghosting him. Because they know what's coming next. Cassie's testimony was just the beginning. Dawn Richard is next. Homeland Security has tapes. Victims are finally speaking. Justice may be late, but it's pulling up. So, to Steve Harvey, Ashton Kutcher, Michael B. Jordan, TD Jakes, and the 100 others on that list, y'all better get your story straight, because if this trial keeps going the way it's going, you're next. This isn't just about Puffy. This is about an entire industry of predators, blackmail, manipulation, and trauma that spans decades. This trial? It's not a headline. It's a reckoning. And we'll be here, watching, reporting, speaking up for the ones who were never supposed to be heard. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Because of the tea is boiling, and this is just the beginning.